beautiful people. My name's Kristen. Thank you for taking some time stopping by my channel. Today I have a book tag video that I have been wanting to do for quite some time. It's been floating around BookTube, but I was reminded by my good friend Michelle Escalin doing it, and I just haven't gotten around to it. But today is the day. So if you are interested in books and people's to-be-read lists, stay tuned. So I'm going to start. I will list all the questions in my description below if you would like to do this or follow along. But the first question is, how do you keep track of your TBR? And actually I have two main ways. One is I use the Amazon wish list, and anytime I have a book that's recommended to me or I come across a review that I really want to read it and I don't have the physical copy in front of me, I put it on my wish list, and that way no matter where I am, I can access that and look at that and say, what was that book, or who wrote this or whatever, and it's all right there. Usually I don't purchase them necessarily from Amazon. I like to go to thrift stores or used bookstores, or people can use it as a wish list for gifting. My children in particular know I'm a big book person, and they will use that and then go purchase it wherever they can find it. So let me take you on a little short journey into my room and show you my physical books TBR and how I assemble those. Hold on. So here's my filming area, and then just right over here in this corner on the dresser, these books here are all my TBR. So for the sake of the video, we'll just kind of fold these down, and the only ones that I haven't technically read this Atlas of Wine, but I use this to kind of help fill the space. And then I have read Anna Karenina, but not this exact copy, but I use these two books to kind of anchor. So all of these are the books that I'm either currently reading for the month or are on my TBR. So not a lot of organization, but hence that's how I organize my to-be-read pile. Is your to-be-read mostly print or ebook? It is completely print. I don't do ebooks. A book that's been on your TBR the longest, I would choose for that definitely Burying the Honeysuckle Girls by Emily Carpenter. This book came out in 2016, and there was a review of it in Real Simple magazine, which I don't even get magazines anymore. But the review in the magazine sounded really great. It's about a young girl who loses her mother early on, and her mother's last words are to wait for the Honeysuckle Girls. And so it's just, that's about as much as I know about it. It's supposed to be a nice summer read, and so part of the reason I think it stayed on there was I didn't get to it in a summer, and then I'd wait for the whole another year. So I've had this book, this physical copy book, probably 3 years. It's probably been on my TBR since 2016. I finally bought a copy of the book, and it's been sitting on my shelf for at least 2 years, probably 3 years. So I do plan on reading it. It says, one of the questions is a book that you never plan on reading, but I plan on reading anything that's on my to-be-read list. How do you determine which book from your TBR to read next? I just kind of look over them and decide. I have them in front of me, so I just kind of look, and if I also like to change my genre. I make sure I read at least one classic a month. I try to do a nonfiction each month, and then I just kind of go with it. I did get on a kick where I went and picked the most popular ones. There's a question on here, a book that everyone has read but you, and I was thinking those are all the really popular books, but I find used copies and read them as soon as I get those. So I don't have any of those on my list right now, or I have them on my Amazon wish list, some of them, but I don't have them physically on my copy. A book you recently added to your TBR, and a book that is in your TBR strictly because of its beautiful cover. So I got 2 books from Amazon, off of Amazon, because they went on special sale. This one, The Curse of the Boyfriend Sweater. It is a story about a woman who is a knitter. It's a nonfiction book, actually memoir, about how basically the principle of if you take time to actually make a homemade sweater for the man that you are in love with and dating, that basically ends your relationship. So it's just kind of her personal memoir on that, and I thought that was really clever. And I kind of sort of knit, I know how. And in the same time, to get my free shipping, I included this book, which had gone down because I collect these. So I strictly bought this for its beautiful cover, although I plan to read it. It's an Elizabeth Gaskell. She did North and South, which I really enjoyed, so I look forward to reading this one called Cranford. I'm not really sure what it's about, but I'm going to read it. And I'm going to love it because it's beautiful. And I love the penguin cloth bounds. A book on your TBR that you never plan on reading. Yeah, I plan on reading them all. An unpublished book on your TBR that you're excited for. I don't do a good job of keeping up with the books that are coming. I have a couple authors. I know Kristen Hanna is one of those authors that I follow, and she just released Four Winds, which I haven't gotten because I'm cheap and I don't buy them when they first come out. But I really look forward to that one. So it's published, but because I don't have my copy yet, I'm going to go with that as my answer. I really look forward to reading that one. I think it's about living in the Midwest and growing up in that area. Let's see, a book on your TBR that everyone has recommended to you. I don't know about everyone, but when I thought of that one, I wanted to show this one, The Black Ships Before Troy. It's based off of the Iliad, and this was recommended to me by Marcia over Cranky Grandma, that's the name of her channel. I blanked out a minute on what her channel was called. So when I read the Iliad and did a review, she said, oh, you've got to read this book because I actually use this in schooling and teaching, and it's wonderful. And it's a short little book on that. And the Iliad was honestly the most graphically violent classic book I have ever read, and it was difficult for me to get through some of it, but I can appreciate the literary value. So I actually said, okay, that sounds pretty good. I'll pick that up. So I look forward to reading that. Recommended book. A book on your TBR that you're dying to read. So I mentioned nonfiction. I love nonfiction, and November is Nonfiction November, so I will probably read maybe a classic, but almost exclusively nonfiction in the month of November. And I have, if you saw when I scanned my books, probably at least a third of those books are nonfiction, and most of them I hope to read during November. And one of those is The Big Thirst by Charles Fishman. So if you read, what was it, The Big Short, or those kind of things that talks about the economic crisis and things that have to do with economy, I love that stuff. I'm a real nerd about it. And so this one is about the coming water crisis, which I mean, some people I know might think that's conspiracies or political power plays or whatever, but I think there's some truth to it, and I look forward to reading this to find out some more and keep my research going on that. So, yeah. And I think it's also a pun, like it said, a book that you're dying to read. So, a water crisis that could be dying, right? Haha. How many books are on your TBR? So in the pile over there is 43 books waiting to be read. I did just do a haul from a used bookstore that I haven't filmed yet. So there's 11 books, between a couple from the Dollar Tree that I bought and then some that I got at the used bookstore. So I was going to do a little haul video. So that's coming up. And then I have 40, I told you on my Amazon wish list, I put the ones that I want but don't have physical yet, and that's 46 books. So considering I read about 60 a year, that's some serious long-term reading. But I enjoy sharing with you all things bookish related. Please leave me a comment if any of these books are appealing to you, if you've read any of them and want to encourage me to bump them up on my TBR. If you have any recommendations that you want to leave for myself or other people, put that in the comments. And I appreciate you taking time to be here. Like and subscribe. I will talk to you again soon.